What's going on, guys? It's Jake here, and today we are doing an in-depth review of the OLED Switch. This video is brought to you by Hillshire Farms. Go meet. So, I'm sure by now you've seen everybody and their brother compare the OLED Switch to the regular Switch to even the Switch Lite. I don't know if you can actually see that up there. Yeah, we're not going to focus on that today. You might be able to tell by the title of this video, but I don't know what it is yet. However, we're going to compare an OLED Switch to an OLED TV. But first, let's briefly talk about all the changes to the new Switch. Obviously, there's the new OLED panel that is slightly larger while still keeping the same form factor. It also has an interesting under the hood change that I found in last week's teardown video. You should watch that video if you haven't already, but I did find that Nintendo combined the display and the touchscreen into one ribbon cable. I'm actually looking into a way to use the OLED screen in the old Switch, so you should subscribe to see when I finally figure that out. And by the way, I know that OLED screens don't use a backlight. I'm big enough to admit when I make a mistake. I was extremely tired from staying up all night trying to get this freaking Switch on launch day, because everybody else got it freaking early. Thanks a lot, Kevin. And after being up for almost 24 hours making the video, then having to edit it, I was just too tired to catch my mistake. I'm sorry. But if you are mean to me in the comments, I will fight back and make you wish you were never even born. The new Switch also doubles the storage to 64 gigabytes, has a much better kickstand, as well as sturdier Joy-Con rails. The last big change is to the dock. Instead of a USB port on the inside, it now has an Ethernet port. This change also allows the dock to get software updates in the future. And with the discovery from Nintendo Prime showing the HDMI 2.0 chip inside the new dock, this means the dock could be updated in the future to support 4K output, but knowing Nintendo, that probably won't happen. Calling all 90s kids. If you were made in the 90s like me, you should buy this shirt. It's comfortable, it's stylish, it's fun for the whole family. I made this because I like the made in the 80s Mario shirt, but sadly I was not made in the 80s. So if you've been looking for a shirt that goes well with your moon shoes, you can buy one now on my website, retroremastered.com. Ask your parents before going online. Now that we got that out of the way, let's compare screens. Back in August, I made the second biggest purchase of my life so far, and I bought the extremely beautiful LG C1 Oled. It has been worth every penny. 4K, 120Hz, all 4 HDMI ports are 2.1. It's a dream. The colors are amazing, especially with HDR, so I was extremely excited to compare this Switch to my TV. I turned on my Switch OLED, put my old Switch in the dock, and man, do those colors pop on that TV. But wait, the OLED Switch pops almost double time. What the heck? So if you didn't know, the new Switch has a Vivid mode and a Standard mode. Vivid has the color saturation up to 100% and it's on by default. The reason why Nintendo does this is to make you think that the new screen is leaps and bounds better than the old one, which it is a better screen, don't get me wrong, but it's just not as much better as Nintendo would like you to think. So they use psychology to trick us all into thinking it's even better. You see, our primitive minds think that brighter and more saturated colors are better. Marques Brownlee proves this every year when he does his blind smartphone camera tests. It works so well that TV manufacturers exploit this with every TV. Raise your hand if you've ever walked into Best Buy and have been wowed by all the colors on the wall of TVs. Congratulations, you have a small brain. See, as a big brain person myself, I can see right through all their tactics. For all you small brain folks, let me explain. Every TV is put into store mode when they become displays for brick and mortar stores. Pretty simple, right? It's an easy way to show off the best examples of high quality video on their best TVs. What you probably didn't know is that store mode pumps the colors to the absolute max so it looks even better in the bleak dull box we call Best Buy. It helps you zero in on the TVs and makes you want a shiny new rectangle for your living room. And it even works on the smartest of people. If you still don't believe me, here's some more proof. Going back to my comparison, if I go to my TV settings and set the color depth, aka saturation, to 100, it matches the vivid mode of the OLED Switch. Now, I have the same colors as the OLED Switch on my TV no matter what Switch model I use. It looks good most of the time, but I would avoid watching YouTube videos with a saturation this high because it makes Linus look weird. Oh, he always looks like that? Never mind then, I guess it doesn't matter. Sorry to cut in real quick, but I wanted to clear some things up. I noticed while editing that I didn't really explain why Vivid Mode might not be as good as it seems. Obviously I explained what it is and why Nintendo is doing it, as well as other manufacturers, but to me it's probably not gonna be the best thing in the long run, because while Metroid Dread looks fantastic on this, and I mean it looks beautiful on an OLED screen. While I don't have any examples right now, there are probably a few games on the Switch out of the thousands now that don't look that good in Vivid Mode. And I'm sure there's going to be more games in the future that aren't going to look good in Vivid Mode either. Not every developer is going to have Vivid Mode in mind, and for the ones that do, it might look worse on the older hardware, or even the TVs that aren't OLED. But the reason why this is all bad is because Nintendo is just making you feel like your hardware is obsolete to make you get this, when all they're doing is just oversaturating the image. And while it wouldn't look as good to oversaturate something on an LCD, they could still do it and it would look a little better. But overall, I just don't think oversaturation is the way to go. Maybe pump the colors a little bit on the OLED one, but I think they may have taken it a little too far, because it is kind of drastic going from one screen to the other, and that's just not realistic. But that's my opinion. But anyway, you should buy Metroid Dread no matter what Switch console you have, and here are my final thoughts. Overall, I think the OLED Switch is a great console. I think you should spend the extra $50 on it, but only if you don't already own a Switch. It's definitely not worth upgrading if you already have a Switch, especially if you primarily play your Switch docked. I'd recommend saving up for an OLED TV, that way all of your at-home content is this beautiful. I know it's a lot more money, but to me, it's really worth it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, listen to Brittany. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 25K by the end of the year. Also, only 1% of my viewers are actually subscribed. I'd also like to say to the new faces here that I'm not a Switch channel. 99% of my videos now are retro tech, mods, repairs. So if you like that stuff, you should stick around. I make crazy cool Game Boys that I sell. I make custom consoles for my favorite YouTubers. And even ridiculous things like controllers that you have to scream into a mic to press the B button.
Shoot, shoot, ah! Shoot, 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 ah! Ah, ah, ah! Shoot, 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 shoot!
If you want, you can follow me on other social media platforms like these. I'm most active on Instagram. You can buy cool merch and mods from me on my website, retroremastered.com. Also, there's always Patreon if you want to go above and beyond like these beautiful people here. But I think that's all the self-promotion I can do for now, so I will see you guys in the next one. Later, guys. This video is sponsored by Hillshire Farms. Go meet. I'm surprised these didn't fall over. Besides the Switch that I purposely knocked over. When I say Hillshire, you say Farms. Hillshire. Go meet.